Well, that's the combine you can hear in the field next door, and that's all the Nucs I've created this year. The whole lot are together, bar about 10. So there's about 110 there. Far too many in one area, but I'll be distributing them in the next few weeks once the queens are accepted. The reason why I've got them all here is because it's easy to treat them. It's a good apiary here. There's not much Asian hornet here. In fact, it's the same for all my apiaries. And it makes sense to centralize your distribution initially, because you obviously don't want to be moving around too much in other areas. So I've actually left the roofs off most of these, you can see, because I'm going to come back and feed these tonight. Now, we've had a lot of robbing up till now for the last 2 weeks, but if you look here, we had quite a lot of rain last week, so we've got a little bit of a flow on. Not much, it just takes the pressure off the bees. You see this clover here, Dutch white clover, and lady's mantle and snapdragon, the miniature snapdragon, and I don't know the name of these flowers here, but the bees do go on them every now and again. You can see there's a honeybee there on clover. That's exactly what I'm talking about. There is food around, and it just makes it easier. I was actually reflecting today and comparing last year to this year, and I know I showed you that video the other day of Asian hornets stalking my bees at one apiary, and the difference this year, the same place. Well, it's the same for everything. To be able to make up Nucs like I have done with the conditions we've had is literally been a walk in the park. Very rarely do you get too hot. I've worn jeans most of the time while I've been making Nucs. Today, we've got a little bit of weather that's come really good. You can hear the farmers, as I said, are just now going frantically mad trying to catch up in their combining to try and get the crop in. And they'll probably have most of it in by the end of this week, because they did probably get about 30–40% in before the bad weather hit us for the last couple of weeks. But we're changed around to a southerly flow now, and it's going to be like 29 degrees tomorrow. But one day of 29 is like, that's nice. You know, I just can enjoy that. And I'll be still making some further splits this week, but I'm raising a group of cells in the cell builder I'm going to make up there. I haven't done any of those splits yet up there, so I'm going to come and split the whole lot. I don't quite know where we're going to put the bees after I split them, but I'm going to split them all in some wooden Nucs, because I've used up all my other Nucs there. They're all gone, apart from I think 5 I've got back at home. So I'm going to be going back in a minute home to make up those 5, and then coming back this evening to feed, as I say. It just makes sense because it frees me up for a couple of hours to get other Nucs ready, but also I'll come down tonight and feed, and everything will calm down by then, and it won't create a frenzy. But I don't think it will anyway, because as I said, there's a little bit of nectar around, but it's just much more sensible to do that. And at the end of the day, you get no bother with wasps. The other day I was trying to feed, and every time I poured syrup in, at least 4 or 5 bees were going into the syrup. So I was trying to dig it out, and then more go in. By the time you get the top back on the feeder, it makes it really awkward. So this week also, I bottled up that spring honey that I showed you making, and I'm going to show you the video of that in a minute. I just did a short little video just to show you the product at the end of it. I think on reflection, it's an excellent way of transforming an already good product into a slightly better product that is just more desirable than rock solid honey. Now, as if you have tried canola or rapeseed honey, it's a little bit flowery and a little bit bland, but a lot of people do like it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's great honey. But when you cream it, it gives it a new dimension, and it, I think, makes it more marketable. And once you've got a machine that you can literally stick the honey in, leave it do its job and come back, and then you've got a better product, I think it's a no-brainer, because we will always have rapeseed honey here in Brittany. You cannot get away with it. So you're better off going with what you've got and doing something, if you can, about it, and trying to present it in a better way. That's kind of just my opinion. So next spring also, I'm going to be selling at least 50 or 60 Nucs, I hope. These are all having apivar this week, but what I'm doing is I was waiting till over half of them had accepted their queens. And in terms of acceptance, I've only checked a few. So the front 4 rows were the first ones I've checked today, and all of them, bar I think about 1 in about 40, doesn't have a queen. So to me, that's absolutely fantastic. But I have found something as well. We did have quite bad cool weather last week, and I'm seeing a lot of this. I'll show you this picture now. I'm seeing a lot of queen cells torn down. So when I went into the colonies, especially this last 2 rows here at the front, to remove queen cells and undo the tabs on the plastic cages, there's always a few queen cells. And as I say, I quite like to see it because it signals to me that there's no queen in the box straight away, even though I wouldn't know. But it just means that the bees are acting as they should do, and you see a queen cell and you think, right, I'll tear that off. The queen cell's already torn down, and it's almost like they've accepted that queen quicker. Whether it was because of the bad weather and they knew they had no other option, I don't know. But I'm putting just a queen in a cage because I'm removing those attendants, as you saw me do. And I'm wondering if they're actually transferring pheromone of the queen quicker and easier around the colony because there's no workers in the way. I don't know whether that makes any difference. It probably doesn't. But I can't help but feel that my success rate is 99% better than it was when I had the attendants. One of the ways you could test it would be to go in and mark the attendants, release them as well, or put them in the cage to be released, and see how many you can count in each colony afterwards to see if they survived. Something I might do next year just to satisfy my curiosity. But anyway, enough for all this yabbering. Whatever we say about it all, the results are that I've got good acceptance in almost all my nukes, and I imagine all the rest that I've got to release 2 more rows tomorrow. Those 2 there, I've got to release them probably 2 or 3 days time, and that will be everything released so far. And there's the 2 or 3 that I've found so far that don't have a queen will get a graft because I've got no more queens. So I'm going to graft directly into those, like I showed you I did before in this picture. And that works really well because it's unique. And if there is a queen, they just won't build it, but you're not having to get a cell, look after it, bring it and put a cell in. You put a graft in. If they want to build it, they will. If they don't, then that's fine. You just move on, you shake it out. But I'm going to, as I said, raise some cells as well and hopefully make another 10 or 20 nukes just to cover the winter losses, and that'll just be something different. So the weather's great. I'm really happy. I have no complaints at all. I've done a great job as far as I'm concerned. I'm now getting orders in for talks for the end of the year. So if you are in an organization and you want me to do some talks, let me know. I can do a Zoom talk, or in some cases I can be UK side. And first of all, I'm absolutely honored to be speaking in the craft section of the National Honey Show on my experiences with Asian hornets here. That I think is on the 27th, the Friday anyway, of the National Honey Show. 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon, I'll be presenting a talk there. I'm also going to be making my way over to America for Cayman Reynolds' new conference, which is going to be absolutely amazing, and it's going to be in Kentucky this year. So I am super honored and excited to be part of that again this coming January. You need to log on to his page to see the details, where you can buy tickets, everything like that. But there's going to be so many amazing beekeepers there. So I'm going to be participating in lots of things, and there's going to be lots and lots of new things that are going to be announced that will make that event totally special and unique. So I am really looking forward to that. What I was getting at by saying that was that I'm going to basically say to anyone who wants me to do talks or anything, if you want me to do them, ask me before the end of the season, because I'm going to stop presenting in February next year because I'm going to have so much to do. So my last talks I will be available to do will be February next year, whether it's Zoom or somewhere else. Because I struggled this year. I've got even more of these nukes to look after, and it's pretty likely I'll get most of these through the winter, because that is not a guarantee, but it's the most likely scenario. And I've got to deal with all of these in early March because the season seems to be getting earlier and earlier, and I do not want to fall behind like I did this year, having to sort out all the dead outs and then hiving up splits and swarms and all that kind of thing. I want to make sure that I'm prepared and stay as close to the rail as I can going into next year. So let me know what you want to do. I'm available. I love doing chats of an evening. We're getting fiber optic at home. Within the next couple of months, we'll be connected. All the hardware is in, everything's ready. So that'll be super exciting to offer a service for that if you're interested. But anyway, other than that, here's the video of me creaming honey. I will finally get there. And I hope you enjoy that. Take care. Bye for now. So we are back in the temporary extraction room, as we talk about all the time. I made a batch of creamed honey, which is, I think, okay. What I've done is I've used the stir method, so it took a long time to cream because I'd already had the honey settling in one of my barrels, and then it was very well settled. In other words, the honey was very stable and didn't want to crystallize for at least 2 weeks. So it's taken quite a while to get it good. But it's done, and now I'm using some of the new pots. I'm just putting in some into 1 kilo pots and some to my existing plastic pots, just to see how it looks, to see how it lasts. And I'm also using the bottling machine, you'll see, connected up to my creaming machine. I'm just watching this. Everything seems to be fine. So what I've got is a DIN 40mm fitting on here. And when I open this up, I've actually warmed this very slightly as well. Because it's got a heated jacket, I warmed it very slightly today to make sure that I give it a little bit of heat to just assist the passage up. And I knew this part would get heavy. So I've supported it from this roof bar, which means that the pipe stays really, really nice and clean. I didn't check this. Got to make sure these are well adjusted. Otherwise we'll have a disaster on our hands. All these machines work great once they're set up properly. That's what you've got to remember to do. But if you look at that quality, there's no spill. That's a little bit over that one because I think it's gone cold. I need to check and that one's got to be checked as well. Generally, I'm getting the right weight and everything's working pretty well. Very happy with the machine. Just needs a little bit more of adjustment here, but I'm yapping away and risking everything. You've got to be on the ball with this machine like every other machine. But these are 1 kilo. I'm going to fill some plastic pots in a minute as well. So I haven't put these further enough down. They're not clicking the needle enough. But overall, it's gone really well. Very pleased. There we go. Extremely satisfying when you've harvested the honey, when you've got it into the creamer, when you've changed it to a slightly better product, a more desirable product, and then you've got it into your own pots and soon to have my own labels. So it's just a little video to show that. There's a lot going on. I'm still doing my last load of splits this week, and I'll be then done to get the harvest done. But this had to be done before the harvest, so it gives me room in here to stack on my honey supers, and there's quite a few. So I'm quite pleased about that. So I'm just going to do about 100 kilos in these glass pots, and the rest, I think about 80 kilos or 60, are going to go into the plastic pots I sell.
Hello, beekeeper.
Hello.
Alles nice to see you some work, please.
Look at that, perfect. What a machine. Let's look at that product. Beautiful.